Hey everybody, good morning. It is, man, Cavu sun-drenched Friday, June 2nd, 2023. It is just about 8 o'clock in the morning, and the wind again is out of the east today, and there is a shaded, when I say shade, that means that the lens on my phone is shaded. There is no shade out there, but there's the airport. And you can see it's Cavu, and you know, it was the weather pattern. I wish you could go online somewhere and recall weather patterns going back forever. Wouldn't that be cool? Because there are some days I remember so perfectly well that go way back. The one, you know, I'm talking about ad nauseum is 26 years ago, 1997, which was one incredible, remarkable, amazing year. 93, the year of my divorce. 94, when I met Laura Slapshot, and God bless you, Laura. And I think about you a lot. And in 1997. So 93, you know, my life literally fell apart. But at the end of that year, you know, I lost my children, I lost my family. My wife filed for divorce, and it was just, I felt like I was completely like swimming alone in shark-infested waters. That's kind of the feeling I had. I just felt like at any moment that I could be just, for example, PFA, Protection from Abuse, is an order from the court, and I am 100% in favor of the action that was taken against me in that regard. Not because I would have done anything crazy, but I was approaching a nervous breakdown by the time the divorce happened. I was. There's no question about it. And that's a dangerous place to be. So my wife at the time got a PFA. I don't think because she was afraid of me. I think it was because she was attracted to somebody else in AA, and to move things forward and move that attraction to the next level, she had to get rid of me. That being said, the marriage was in serious trouble, and we just were not compatible. And you can be pushed. I felt like I was pushed into a situation where my goals, my aspirations, the objectives for, you know, me and my family were never going to happen, and that my partner didn't care. She could care less about my career ambitions, my aspirations for my children, not to grow up in an apartment building, not to work in the food industry, for my daughter especially, because young women just automatically go and get a job at a fast food restaurant or at a restaurant, waiting on tables, being served, you know, getting a servitude kind of arrangement. And I just was not going to stand for that for Amanda, for my daughter, unless she insisted. Somewhere along the way, if she said, "Dad, that's enough, I'm going to go work at Rainbow Pizza," which is what her mother wanted her to do. Well, that never happened. Once I gave her a feeling, a taste, if you will, an impression of what it's like to work in a professional environment, she took to it like a fish takes to water at 15 years old. Anyway, that's what I wanted for the family. I wanted us to have a better existence than, you know, being cramped into a small apartment. I just, and it's, you know, I worked day and night towards that goal and that aspiration. My partner just didn't, she just couldn't get on board with me in that regards. And, you know, so I felt like it was impossible. What I wanted was being made impossible to achieve, and that can lead to a nervous breakdown, meaning that there's no solution, there's no answer to my issues and my concerns or my problems. There's no answer. It's just a crash and burn situation. That's not going to happen. Well, I don't accept that. I will never accept failure from lack of effort. I can accept failure, but not through not from not giving a damn, not for accepting responsibilities and obligations and goals, things that you want to do, actions you want to do, things you want to get done, hopefully with your partner on board with you. She was never on board with me towards my professional and career goals. She just didn't give a darn. And I should have realized that. You know, that part of this whole debacle, Anyway, so that was 93. By the end of 93, I had finally started getting my feet back on the ground and accepting the fact that, you know, my kids were not taken away from me. Like I say, they were taken away from me. They were, but because the marriage broke up. And a broken marriage, I don't think, I mean, this is just my opinion, but I don't accept the idea of the kids living 2 weeks with one parent and then 2 weeks with another parent and then 2 weeks with, removes any kind of stability that they might have in their lives, and it adds a lot of confusion and disruption to, you know, the growing up process. When you're growing up and you're a kid, you don't really care about all these things except that you want to be loved by your parents. And we loved our children and gave them, and I would say that for their mother too. And regarding the PFA and the divorce, after the dust settled, and you know, like a year and a half, but it was like to the end of the year of the divorce, 93, I really was coming to accept everything the way it was shaken out. That acceptance would be challenged, though, when my ex-wife started hitting the booze again. When you say that for an alcoholic, it has a different meaning than for somebody that's not an alcoholic. For an alcoholic, when they're hitting the booze, man, you see things that you just can't believe are real. And so anyway, but my wife is still alive, or my ex-wife is still alive today, and she's doing okay. She's even asked me to move back in with her. It's just, I'm sorry. I don't mean to diminish or degrade her feelings in any way. And let me tell you, as a loving mother, boy, she is so good with kids, with little kids too. Like our grandchildren are little. It's kind of sad that she missed out on some of the early days with our grandchildren, and so did I. There's more to that, but for Joan, she is so good with little children, just amazingly good. And with our children and with our grandchildren, she's just, they love her. I mean, you know, she just relates on their level. Anyway, so, beautiful sun-drenched day. It's just, and it's going up to 90 today. June 2nd, and I said, hey, you know, and then for the following week, it's not going to go above 80. I don't think so. You know, it's nice, man. The month of May was so, and the winds have been out of the east, which amazes me that we have Cavu, because when the winds come from the east, the influence is the Atlantic Ocean. The Atlantic Ocean is about 90 miles east of here. Not a bad drive. Well, I shouldn't say that. During the summer, going to the Jersey Shore can be a horrendous drive, especially on the weekends. But anyway, wow. That was on my mind. My dog is on. How you doing there, buddy? Amazing dog. Be 15 on July 16th. He'll be 15 years old. That's remarkable. Happy for him. Sorry for my beloved dog Haiti, which I've done some videos on. I'm going to repost those. She was such a great companion. This guy is not a great companion. He's not affectionate at all to me. He imprinted on his mother, who I miss like I miss my hemorrhoids. That was his mother. She passed when she did. She sent money out to all her relatives, which never helped her. Who never helped her. She sent money to her relatives, and not a dime for me. And I'm okay with that. That she leaves me the dog. Oh God, peace, boy. Yeah, the past, you got to let it go, and it's not a matter of letting it go. For me, it's a matter of crowbarring it out of my, shoehorning it out of my head. And I don't think psychologists have a tool for that. There's no drug that can do that either. The eternal sunshine of the Cleansed Mind or something like that with Jim Carrey. The Eternal Sunshine of the Beautiful Mind or something like that, where they have this new technology where they can remove memories and remove people from your memory, with leaving the rest of your memory intact. I might sign up for that right now, but not really. No, I don't want to forget any of my life. I would not want to forget any of my life. As bad as this person was involved in my life. 1997, it was a double-edged sword. I was just thinking about this morning. I got this incredible career opportunity at Bell. Just unbelievable. Going from minimum wage, no benefits, 80 hours a week, to this like awesome, crazy, awesome, wonderful, beautiful career. Just, and I got it out of nowhere. And that was so wonderful. But then I started hanging out with this other person that worked there. Things went the other way, socially, not professionally. So keep in mind, anybody that's watching this and gives any credence to what I said, keep in mind there's a professional side of you and there's a personal side of you. They overlap sometimes. You know, they can overlap. However, when the chips are down and, you know, when your cards are on the table, you better know which sector, which one of those phases you're in. Are you in a professional or personal phase? And there's sometimes when you must keep them separate. And I did. There's no way this person is going to disrupt my career opportunity at Bell. There's no way it would happen. I said yesterday in a video, I said, you know, when she was fired, the manager, because they saw us kind of hanging around with each other even after, you know, her rotten show of 1999, her disgusting, horrible, humiliating, insulting behavior towards me in 1999. After that, we broke up, and then she somehow shoehorned her way back into my life, which was a horrible mistake by me. But then when they fired her, you know, my manager came to me and said, you know, they were letting go of your friend today, and I just wanted to give you a heads up because I thought you might be upset. And I was like, dude, I could care less about her being fired. And it has no meaning to me at any level whatsoever. Zero. And good riddance, man. I really didn't want her around work anyway. I think I mentioned in my video that she started following me after she couldn't get back in my life after work. Well, the reason she could do that is because we worked at the same place. But I always worked later. I was always there earlier than her, and I always worked later than her. Because I loved my career at Bell. I loved it. And I still do. I cherish, you know, those times, that experience at Bell quite a bit. And I also cherish my career as a photographer, aerial and otherwise, quite a bit. I'm glad I had both in my life. I'm very fortunate. But that wouldn't just come to me. I had to be in search of something better for myself. But anyway, so they fire her. It's like they're concerned about my reaction. I was like, I have no feeling whatsoever about her getting fired. You know, go ahead. It doesn't matter to me. It doesn't mean anything to me. Of course, she came from a rich family, and they would bail her out, you know, when she got in trouble. Good for her. Anyway, so it's just incredible. And see, my mind automatically in June goes back to 1997. And at this point, I'd given up on photography and videography. I dropped them because I couldn't fit it into my professional life in a way that was gonna take care of everything that I needed to do. That includes supporting myself, somehow digging my way out of $46,000 of credit card debt, you know, as a result of my business failing, a lack of income because I left UPS. I mean, so there were these things, and I don't mean to belabor the obvious, but I had applied to a part-time videographer job that I saw on the Daily Local News, And I didn't intentionally plan it this way, but as it ended up, when it came down to hearing if I got the job or not, it was part-time. It was also a defining moment in my professional life, because if I don't get that job, my photography, videography career is over. In appearance and in my involvement in photography and videography. Although anybody that's following me knows that 2 years later, I had an aerial photography opportunity that is just unbelievable. To this day, I can't believe it. And I had to make a choice between Bell and the photography career. Well, I had to stay with Bell because of my children. That said, oh, there comes a Cessna. Somebody's getting their flying lessons started earlier in the day, because it's supposed to go up to 90 later, and he's taking off with a tailwind. So, getting that career at Bell, nothing was more important. No person, except for my children, of course, you know. My children were the most important people for me, and myself. I mean, I got to the point where, professionally speaking, personally speaking, I screwed up. I can't say it any other way. And I screwed up by not getting this person the F out of my life, man. It's just a bad mistake. Although, I didn't go into detail on this the other day. In 2010, I lost my career at Verizon because of the 08-09 meltdown and the way the bankers raped our country and raped our taxpayers and snuck out the back door with their huge bags of money. And I'm always going to say it that way, because that's what happened. It affected everybody. And I didn't get fired. They just got rid of my position, my job. I got a severance. It was nice. It was nice. That said, my house I had to sell. I built it in 2004, 2010. I couldn't afford the mortgage after Verizon let me go, and I needed a place to live, and I moved in with her, and that was a bad mistake too. That being said, I saved $40,000 in rent money over the next, I mean, I was there 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. I was there 10 years. I lived with her for 10 years. This is the same person. But you know what? You'll sleep with the devil if it means assistance that you need. With the idea and the objective in mind, I didn't have it. I just wanted to, I wanted to be able to take care of myself. And cheap rent is a nice way to achieve that objective. And it's kind of worked in my favor, because I still have a nest egg that I'm trying to grow into a sizable amount, and there's a possibility of doing that because I had cheap rent all those years. So yeah, staying with that person, I didn't like it. It's like the Kennedys used to say, yeah, with somebody that's horrible and evil and rotten, you can shake hands with one hand, and with the other hand you hold your nose so you don't smell the stench and the stink that's coming out of this arrangement. And that's exactly what was going on with me. So anyway, she's gone, I'm here, I'm alive. That's her dog, and I'm committed to taking care of the dog for the dog's sake. And I'm okay with that. It kind of gives me a purpose. I'm totally into an investment now, and it's taken me forever to learn how to invest, but you really need to learn what to do and what not to do, and it doesn't guarantee any success, but you must. If you're an investor, you must be analytical. I mean, the only way to go, in my opinion, is to be a long-term investor. People that trade, you know, you hear success stories. There's some success stories, I guess. We'll see about that. I'd like to dabble in trading, but I want to own companies like Tesla, and I do own Tesla. And they killed me last year. They literally, when they went from 350 a share to 100 a share, they lost $250 to almost $300 a share. They went down by 75% or something like that. I sold on the way down. I bought some back on the way down. It just kept going down. I got clobbered. but I'm not giving up. And I've recovered, I think, I've recovered 40% of what I lost last year. And that all those losses came in November and December, in 2 months. It's amazing. When the market turns and goes and shoots down, you better be ready for something like that. And so I am not all the way to being an investor. I'm working at it though, and you know, risk mitigation and the preparation for what happened in November, December of last year. You better be ready for that, because it's going to happen. It'll happen again. There's no question. And so the key to that is removing your emotions from being an investor. And man, you have to reinforce that. I am way too emotional of a person. I wish I didn't have these crazy, freaky emotions that just all of a sudden grab me and throw me down. But what's even worse with those kinds of emotions is you can go broke investing easily if you're just investing based on your emotions, and many people do. Anyway, yeah, Tesla, they've got full self-driving. I'm pretty sure they got it figured out, and it's going to be generally deployed by the end of this year. And companies, this company, I'm telling you, Tesla's got so many things going on that are potentially game changers in the energy business, in the automotive industry, in space, in outer space, and that's SpaceX too, but they, you know, they're partners. Solar energy, the energy from the sun to energy storage, and then being independent, being completely independent for energy, where we don't have to go, we're not addicts that have to go to the gas station anymore. The energy comes from the sun, goes into the solar roof, gets stored in Powerwall batteries, recharges your electric car, and then your Powerwall batteries provide energy for your home. So you don't need the electric company anymore. We don't need the oil companies anymore. Get rid of them. Let's make the transition. Let's make it happen. It's not going to happen overnight. If I was leading this country, I'd say 5 years. We want to be there, folks. Change or get off the boat. Anyway, that's my 2 cents for the day. It's Friday, June 2nd, 2023, and I'm glad I'm alive. Even though I've had thoughts about suicide. Most people my age do, I think. You know, because it can be devastating getting to be this old, and you know, your body falls apart. I mean, I can feel things happening with me getting into this age bracket. My heart, I had an echo profile 2 days ago, and then I saw my regular doctor yesterday, and he looked at the report and he said, well, this isn't that bad. I mean, and he thinks that it could be my statin, my atorvastatin Lipitor, that's causing fatigue. So he said, go off it for 2 weeks and see how you feel. Because when he looked at my heart report, he said, this really shouldn't be causing the kind of fatigue that you're talking about. I said, really? Wow. Wonder why my cardiologist wouldn't tell me that. Then he qualified as saying, in my opinion. Okay, so I'm going to go off the statin for 2 weeks and see if it has any difference. Today, I got to get home and vacuum and then get into my exercise regimen, which is why I got off to an early start today. Because I have air conditioning there, and I didn't want to be coming out here this afternoon. It's going to be 90 degrees, and that's miserable. Yeah. Not as bad as Arizona, though, which is where my son is. You know, people ask me, well, what should we do? You know, what do you do with your life if you're just getting started? And I would say, set some goals for yourself. Find something that you're passionate about. This guy that I live with, he wants to start a business. And I said, well, what's your passion about the business? He goes, my passion is money. Dangerous, dangerous way to go. But if if you do have an interest and passion in doing something, if you want to start your own business, do make a business plan. You've got to have a business plan when it comes to business. You got to get rid of the emotions, all right? And you need to be committed, A, to taking care of your customers. And I went over this in detail recently where I can't tell you how many times I used to go into a bank, and you had to pick which line you're going to be in. And if you pick the wrong line, you're standing there watching all the other 3 lines just go by you. People that come in like 10 or 15 minutes after you got there and after you've been in line, and they go ahead of you. Okay, any business owner should be able to recognize that as a flaw and as a cancer. Because, you know, when your customers get pissed, they're waiting to give you their money. And in a retail store, I can't tell you how many times, okay, you know, what's a good example? I think I made the example of the Sears, and Sears is gone. Gee, I wonder why. They had these hardware store outlets, and I tried one, and I liked the store. I liked what they had. But when I went to give them my money, I had to pick between 3 lines, and if I picked the wrong line, I'm screwed. How stupid! How stupid is that? That's stupid. That's so goddamn stupid. How can you not see that you're ruining your customer's experience by punishing them for picking the wrong line to give you their money? I just scared the shit out of my dog. Oh, there's nothing that... It's such an easy fix. All you got to do is a snake line. You know, 1 line, people, for 3 registers, 1 line. That way, the person that came in 10 minutes ago isn't surpassed by the person just got here 10 seconds ago. Just because they picked the wrong line? Okay, that's... In a business plan, that would be called customer service, customer convenience, customer satisfaction, whatever you want to say. And it's so important to get that feedback from your customers. A PSFS Bank. Now they're gone, thank God. But they never fixed that problem. So you go into the bank, and I just want to deposit my paltry whatever I made from being a busboy, and I'd pick the wrong line. You know, there'd be like 4 tellers. I picked the wrong one. I picked the line with a person that has a huge bag of money, and it's going to take them 15 minutes to process. While the other 3 lines, they're all going like gangbusters, and I'm standing there just getting pissed and pissed and pissed. And the business owner, the business doesn't care. And it's not just the bank. I've been in a number of retail outlets where the cashier will get in a conversation with somebody ahead of me, and they start having a good old time. I'm waiting to give them my fucking money, and they're making me wait until their conversation is done. You don't see a problem with that? Oh, I'm glad I'm retired, man. I'm so glad. It's a good retirement. I'll tell you what, my retirement is going just fine. It's going just fine. And I hope I never have to work in a job again. If somebody wanted me as a consultant, I'd consider it. But really, on a day-by-day basis, you know, ongoing, it wouldn't be permanent. So anyway, I hope you guys are finding your way, whatever that might be. For me, what I really wanted was to be a commercial airline pilot, and I just couldn't figure out how to pay for the lessons over the amount of time. That's what you want to do with your college years. Do something like that. Go for your pilot's license. But always be studying accidents. Always, always, always. If you are a pilot, you always want to stay up to date on the most recent accidents that happen. Very important for your survival and for the survival of your passengers. And it's safer than driving a car if you do your due diligence and you don't stray from things like the maximum takeoff weight, useful load, center of gravity. I mean, you know, all that stuff. There's so many things. And now with artificial intelligence, I'm hoping that will reduce the workload for pilots, where they can still have to pre-flight the airplane, but in terms of all the, you know, the checklist things, AI should be able to take care of that, and that'll make the whole thing more. For example, I'll just give you a quick one. Last year, the King Air crash, which just freaked me the F out when I saw the video of this. Guys flying from Columbus, Ohio to Martinsburg, West Virginia? West Virginia. He has to just go over. It was only like an hour flight, maybe 65, 70 minutes from Columbus, Ohio to West Virginia, like a panhandle. They got a panhandle that goes up, and then they got a panhandle that goes east. It's the one that goes east. So he came down from Columbus, Ohio. I think he went through Pennsylvania, and then just over the border from Pennsylvania was where the airport was in West Virginia. And a King Air. These King Airs, they have the best anti-icing and de-icing systems in the industry. However, the weather report, and this is the actual weather that's happening right now, had icing from the ground all the way up to cruise altitude. I think his cruise altitude was 5,000 feet, and it was just one of those freaky things where the icing conditions existed from the ground all the way up. I'm just saying 5,000 feet. It could have been 4,000 feet. But on such a short flight, you know, how high is he going to go? And wherever he goes, he's going to be encountering icing. So before he takes off, he has to do an effectiveness check on the icing, anti-icing, de-icing systems. They have to be primo, and even then, the manufacturer might recommend postponing the flight. So, from the moment on the ground while he's waiting to take off, it's icing. So he takes off. It's no more than an hour on this flight. He gets within. He's in icing conditions all the way. He gets within. He's on final approach, but there's so much ice on the wings that, boom, they lose lift, and he goes nose down first into a used car lot. And there was a video that caught that, and the monstrosity and the violence and the destruction of that accident is mind-blowing. And it's completely unnecessary. It's pilot error, okay? Most accidents, aviation, even, on the highways, the situation is insane, totally insane. But in aviation, I'm going to say easily more than half of the accidents are pilot error. That's pilot error. You shouldn't be flying in those conditions, dude, unless your airplane is spot on top of the notch de-icing. And even that, you know, you divert or you know, you don't go. You just got to tell everyone, you know, whoever's pressuring you, like Kobe Bryant pressuring his helicopter pilot to get him to where he has to go. Well, how'd that work out with all the pressure? It did not work out. Everybody got killed, including his beautiful 13-year-old daughter. Oh, what a tragedy, Kobe, man. I'm just really sad about that. Anyway, just food for thought, and I hope everybody has a great weekend. Peace.